The UEFA Champions League climax over the weekend, and for Arsenal fans who were hoping that their team will clinch the UEFA Champions League for the very first time in the club's history, were left disappointed as Paris Saint-Germain got a back-to-back UEFA Champions League over Arsenal. So much to talk about in the ever-exciting world of sport for this week. And of course, in the Nigerian scene, the Unity Cup has come to an end at the Valley as the Super Eagles of Nigeria clinched the Unity Cup once again. And of course, in the Rabada Monday, we'll be talking about someone who has broken another record. So much to talk about in the ever-exciting world of sport. My name is Olakunle Philip, and the show is Sport Pizza, where you get the absolute best in the ever-exciting world of sport. We'll go on this short break, and when we come back, the show continues. Do join us again. Many thanks to you out there, esteemed viewers, for always deeming it fit to be a part of the show. Sure promises to be a great and exciting time right here with us on Sport Pizza. I'm not going to be doing it alone. I've got my strike partner joining me on the show. I have the pleasure of introducing Kelechi Nwosu to you. Kelechi, it's good to have you on the show. Great to be here. First time of many times ahead. Absolutely. Absolutely excited to be on the show. Absolutely excited to be on the show, and we're starting off with the UEFA Champions League final that climaxed over the weekend. So many Arsenal fans were actually hoping that the team will be able to win the Champions League, but unfortunately the Paris Saint-Germain team led by Ousmane Dembele broke the heart of the millions of Arsenal fans as PSG ran away victorious. Kelechi Nwosu, I'm going to be asking you firstly, which team were you rooting for in that final? Well, I've been an Arsenal supporter for the better part of, I think, 20 years now, on and off. Wow. So I was rooting for Arsenal, and it was a bit disappointing. But I felt somehow Arsenal were, I think you would say they were the architects of their own misfortunes in that game. It was a game that had every little undertone of an Arsenal win. I don't think Arsenal saw it that way. They went into that defensive complex they go into games with normally. You know, what I actually thought was that, because of the fact that the goal came, Arsenal scored very early through Harvard, spectacular, goal, well taken by him. At the point when he was actually going towards the side, he slowed down. I thought that probably was going to miss it, but, he slotted the ball into the net. I felt that perhaps because the goal came early, Arsenal felt, or probably Mikel Arteta felt that because of the defensive, build-up of the team and the fact that they've been managing games without conceding, they were going to see the game through. But unfortunately, this didn't happen. But, no two games are the same thing. That is the reality when you look at football. No two games are the same thing. I keep telling myself, sometimes Arteta seems to put a lot of games in the same box. A PSG team is a team that always attacks. They attack for 90, 120 minutes, be it extra time. Absolutely. They're always coming, absolutely. They're always coming after you. So, this was a game that Arteta knew exactly how PSG were going to operate. That goal came early. I was thinking probably another goal in that first half, or early in the second half, or somewhere in the middle of the second half, then you go defending. You don't score in the 6th minute against PSG and start defending on the right, on the one-off. Okay. It's going to be a difficult game, and that was what it became for Arsenal. He got the tactics very wrong in that final. Not very wrong. I think it didn't consolidate on the early gains Arsenal had in that game. That goal was an early game, but Arsenal needed to consolidate, but they did not. Okay, well, that's on the part of Arsenal. Let's look at PSG as a team. Like you said, is a team that comes at you. Kvara is there, Ousmane Dembele. They are always attacking. What do you think actually, got them the victory? Because a lot of people felt that probably they might not, and at the same time, for
teams playing in the UEFA Champions League, I don't think any team has been able to defend their title, and then for PSG, they were able to make it happen. What do you think they did in that final that was very right, and of course, they were able to secure the trophy?
I just think, you know, at some point, the game swung in their momentum. The early momentum lay with Arsenal. We've already established that fact. And I think somewhere along the line, they knew exactly what they needed to do. And I have to say, maybe not tactically, but because I didn't think they were as tactical as they were in that second leg, you know, in Germany, in the semi-final against Bayern Munich. But I think they were very patient. And, you know, that's the hallmark of any big team. Even when you are facing adversity, when you are facing, you know, hard luck in the game, you have to be calm. They stayed calm. The penalty, you know, came through. One of their most dangerous players, if not their most dangerous player, Kivicha, got the penalty. And I think Mosquera totally mistimed the tackle, and it was, I mean, a right call. I think they were patient. Because on the whole, you wouldn't say they were better. You won't say they were better than Arsenal, yeah, even in extra time.
Absolutely. Even if the penalty hadn't come, I doubt if they would.
But I think it's just that maturity, and them being in the corridors. They were in the corridor of a vicinity that they were used to. You know, they were defending the title, so they are used to being there. And a lot of the players, I think, say for one player, I think it was Safonov, the goalkeeper, who wasn't in that team in the last final. So I think a lot of them were comfortable in this situation.
All right. I think I want to ask you this because Arsenal fans are devastated, they are sad and all of that, and for some Chelsea fans, you know, the banter and all of that, you are yet to chill with the big boys, and you know, would you say it has been a successful season for Arsenal? Yes, they won the English Premier League title, and now they've lost the UEFA Champions League. Has it been a successful season for Arsenal?
I think they've come out from the basement. They've been locked in the football basement for a while. Success, marginal. I have to say marginal, not total success. Because imagine if Arsenal had achieved the quadruple that was earmarked earlier in the season. Then you'll be talking about this season and you say, yes. And it will spark a lot of fear in teams as well. But I think they've come out of the locker room, some of the football basement, so to say, and they can build on it. But a lot of teams are going to see Arsenal and say, probably, let's test the metal, let's test the water, let's see if they are going to sustain what they've gained this season. I think it's a season of gain for them because the banter is going to reduce a bit. But then they have to sustain the momentum. If they sustain the momentum, what it will do is spark fear in teams, which is what that Champions League win would have done for Arsenal. I think I was thinking they will be thinking in that light. Let's also land the Champions League trophy. The teams are going to take us, a bit seriously. But the other fans are still laughing at Arsenal. They won't win the league this season. I've been hearing that a lot. But let's see how that goes. That's still, in the future. But overall, I think Arsenal can build on the game. It's not marginal. I said marginal in the end. That might be a bit too harsh on Arsenal. I think it's a big gain, but it can be bigger in the future. That's if they can sustain with the kind of team they built.
All right, so much optimism from Kelechi. He's actually of the opinion that Arsenal can still chill with the big boys come next season. They just have to be consistent, and of course, the UEFA Champions League will be at their disposal. Away from the UEFA Champions League, let's switch our attention to the Super Eagles of Nigeria, right there at the Valley, the home ground of Charlton Athletic in South London. The Super Eagles of Nigeria were able to defend their title against all expectation because when you look at the kind of players that coach Eric Chell played in this tournament, you want to say that yes, the guys have done a very exceptional job, beating Jamaica in the final by 3-0. Kelechi, look at the team. I think I just want to say, I was talking about it last week, that the team, the coach, Eric Chell, reminds me of Clemens Wester back in the early 90s, how he tutored the team, and then he was able to qualify the Super Eagles to the World Cup for the first time in 1994, and then also won the African Cup of Nations. Everything that has to do with with what Eric Chell is doing with the Super Eagles now just still towards what how Clemens Wester was able to achieve success with the Nigerian national team. Now let's look at that final against Jamaica, where it was a convincing 3-0 victory. Yes,
but how we say it in football in these parts. it's more or less like a glorified friendly. But but I am not going to belittle the effort of the Eagles. I'm one of the few journalists that actually believed in Eric Chell when he took up the Super Eagles job, because he had that element of mystery around him. Nobody knew anything about him, and I knew he was going. I knew for one I was going to see the imprint of somebody who is just going to come and try and do something different, something that hadn't been done with the Super Eagles, before. So far, I think it came together a bit late for him. Towards the end of the last qualifiers of the World Cup, started coming together for him and the players and the Nigerian national team, including the fans as well. I'm hoping they build on this. I love the fact that back to back now they've been able to secure the Unity Cup, and it's always against Jamaica. I think that's becoming somewhat of a derby, intercontinental derby between Nigeria and Jamaica.
Yeah, Kelechi, look at the game against Zimbabwe.
Yes.
You remember the
qualifiers
of Nigeria qualifier, and this was one of the games that affected that stopped the Super Eagles, that hindered our chances of qualifying for the World Cup. But this team that's just been set up for a few days, were able to go past the Warriors of Zimbabwe, beating them by 2 goals. So what does this tell you?
It tells me that good times are ahead. I'm sure you've seen some of my clips. You saw a recent clip where I showed how much I love the Nigerian national team just before the Nations Cup. It's a team I believe in the Super Eagles so much. I am devastated that there haven't been players like Osimhen and Lookman haven't been able to test the World Cup yet. I think it will come.
Sad.
I think it will come.
Absolutely.
And I also want a bit of options when it comes to player positions in the national team. And I think that is what Eric Chell is looking to achieve. Those options will help the team, and it will also foster competition.
All right, we have more friendly games to come. We're going to be playing against Poland and also the big game against Portugal. But the bad news now is that some of our top players said they won't be available for the game. Talking about Ademola Lookman and Victor Osimhen, and we're playing against 2 top teams. I remember what Portugal did to the Super Eagles the last time out. It was a 4-0 demolition against the Super Eagles. And then,
I was going to go to that.
It brings fears to me that, considering the fact that some of our players are not exposed to such big games, wouldn't they take also the cleaners, Kelechi?
I don't think this time around. Up until the last Nations Cup, Nigeria was the most valuable team in Africa, and it's because of the wealth of talents at the disposal of the national team. Yes, you spoke about Osimhen, I spoke about Lookman not going to be there, but we still have a lot of players. You have Akko Adams, for example. There are quality players in that side.
Absolutely.
I don't think it's going to be a whitewash like the last time around. And for Portugal, I think it's a fair friendly for them. Don't forget they have DR Congo in their group, so they're looking to test that opposition that DR Congo actually overcame to come to the World Cup. So for Poland, I think it's also good for Nigeria. They're not going to the World Cup. They have to be engaged. They have to be active all the time.
All right, we'll wait to see how things will pan out. We'll go on this short break, and when we come back, the show will continue. Do join us again. Welcome back. Let's switch our attention to Rabat Diamond League in Morocco, where Nigeria's finest, Tobiloba Amusan, clinched the 100 meters hurdle final, winning in the seconds of 12.28 seconds to clinch the gold medal, and of course eclipsing the record that she has set. It's good to know that Kelechi, our girl, is back. And remember, at the last Olympics, a lot of expectations, but she wasn't at her best in that competition. But now she's back, and of course, she's doing what she knows how to do best. She's
a serial winner. She never really drops her shoulder in a bad way, so to speak. So I am not surprised at what she's doing. There's always that period. There was also that period when she had the doping problem just before the World Athletics Championships. She dusted herself up and came back. She's a winner, and she's always looking to participate, and she's always looking to be at the top level all the time. I am not surprised at all. I hope she builds on what she's gained in Rabat.
All right, we'll wait to see how that will go. We'll switch attention to the French Open now. And of course, the news have it that Iga Swiatek has crashed out in the women's category of the French Open. And by virtue of that, it is now obvious that all the players that have won the French Open have crashed out. And right now, we have two players who has never won it and are highly rated, are standing a chance of laying their hands for the first time on the French Open. Kelechi is a very good one. You know, it's always good. I'm always happy when you have new winners emerging in competitions. And right now, Naomi Osaka and of course Sabalenka stands a good chance of clinching. They won Grand Slam titles. They won both of them have 4 Grand Slam titles each in their kitty. But now they both have a chance. One of them will be clinching the French Open for the first time.
Well, we're hoping for Naomi Osaka since giving birth some years back. She's been struggling to get back to her prime best. So you have to look at that and say for Naomi Osaka fans it's an opportunity. But then you also have to look at Aryna Sabalenka, the most hungry. If you are going to look at the top players left there, she wants to put her hand on that trophy. She never won it before. You mentioned it, as well as Naomi Osaka. But you'll be backing, because of momentum, be backing Sabalenka. But then you can't write off former champion as well. Maybe not in France, but then she's been champion at Grand Slam level, Naomi Osaka.
All right, we'll wait to see how things will pan out now. Let's switch attention right now to the World Cup. The excitement is actually on, and a lot of friendly matches are being played. The Super Eagles of Nigeria are also going to play some friendly games, but they won't be participating at the FIFA World Cup. We saw some exciting friendly games going down over the weekend, and one game that actually caught my attention was the game involving the United States of America and the Teranga Lions of Senegal. The Teranga Lions are the champion of Africa, and right now, Kelechi, I thought that they actually have that hedge by virtue of the fact that the African champion going up against the United States of America. Mind you, the United States, I think their best sport isn't even football. That's the perspective I'm looking at things from. And I felt that Senegal should have been able to at least get a draw in that game, despite the fact that we know it was a friendly game.
And I know where your sentiment is coming from, because of the quality of players that were on parade in that game. But then, don't let friendlies fool you. I think it was back in 1998. Nigeria had a horrendous, preparation up on, going up into that, competition in France. Absolutely. But then, in their first game, stunned everybody. Yeah, they beat the highly rated Spain and played exciting football as well. So don't let friendlies fool you. If it were a competitive game at the World Cup, you would always back that Senegalese team, because they are like the front runners when it comes to African football. Say for Morocco, you are always going to back Senegal. Going into this World Cup, I am backing Senegal ahead of every other African teams. So it's just a bit of a blip, and I think a wake-up call for them as well. They need to work on it, because they know there's a lot of work ahead if they are going to participate well at the World Cup and possibly win it.
They are one of the teams that I'm actually looking forward to from Africa to actually make the continent proud. Let's also talk about South Africa. There's this news that they have been having visa issues, and they're supposed to depart for Mexico over the weekend. And of course, about 20 of the players are yet to be issued visa. What do you think is actually wrong?
I think it always happens with African teams. When you hear of these visa issues, it's always about these African teams. I think they will sort it out eventually. It's basically paperwork. It's basically administrative. They're going to sort it out, because those players are surely going to be at the World Cup. There's no how they are not going to be at the World Cup. It's just a little delay. But I think it's going to be sorted out eventually. It happens on the run-up, because I think World Cup is so big. You expect these problems here and there.
The excitement is still on, and of course we wait to see how things will pan out at the FIFA World Cup. We'll go on this short break, and of course we'll be giving you our Sport Pizza video of the week. Do join us again. That was our Sport Pizza video of the week. Kelechi, you saw those penalties. I felt that Raya really tried his best. I think the players were the ones that didn't really take the shot very well.
Well, for Arsenal, I think another learning curve for them, another learning curve for Arsenal. So for Gabriel, easily Arsenal's best player from last season, he shouldn't be downbeat. He's upward progression for Arsenal. It was semi-final the last time. Now it's the final. Probably next time the trophy.
All right. Thank you very much, Kelechi, for
great pleasure. Great pleasure to be with you.
If you have missed the show, you can actually go to our YouTube channel and, of course, watch the shows over there. There are a lot of shows for you for your viewing delight over there. Thank you very much for joining us once again. We'll be back here, same time, same station. And, of course, you'll get the very best of sport from us. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.